Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. And before we get started, I just wanted to let everyone know that this is a movie I grew up with, along with the first two Terminators, and is the DVD that I got back as a little present, and I used to like it, and many years later, I rewatched it. And this does not hold up very well. So the plot for Terminator 3 is basically a story about John Connor in the year 2004, more on that later, who's trying to escape from any possible Terminators coming after him. And eventually they send a Terminator back in time to kill him, and another to protect, just like Terminator 2, with some differences. But here, I don't know what happened. We'll start off with the positives, as usual. And the first positive I have is Arnold Schwarzenegger is good in this movie, as he was in the last two. He's just as good as in those two movies as he is in here. And the villain whoever plays the TX, I can't remember her name, Christiana Loken, I think is how you pronounce her name. She works just fine as the TX. She's not as good as Robert Patrickson. She's not as good as Robert Patrick, who was the T-1000 in the last movie. But she works just fine for what she needs to be. She's not great, but you know what? She works just the way she needs to. There's some enjoyable action sequences in this movie. They're not great, but they're fun to look at. There are some good ideas that they kind of touch on, but they don't really fully go into them, but it's something at least. And last but not least, the last scene in the movie was very well done, and I really like that scene a lot. It's the last scene in the movie, before the credits. And I think that's it. Let's get into the negative. My first problem with this movie is Nick Stahl as John Connor. He just does not work in this movie for me. He doesn't feel like John Connor. He doesn't feel like a leader. He just is a homeless guy who just is trying to run away from a Terminator. And the writing for his character is a mess, and the performance isn't very believable. And Claire Danes in this movie, she is not that great in this movie either. And she has nothing to do. Same with John Connor. John Connor and Catherine Brewster have nothing to do in this movie except run away from a Terminator, which worked in the last movie. Yeah, but in the last movie, John Connor was teaching the Terminator how to fit in, which was nice, and that was one of the best parts of the movie. And it was great to see, but in this movie, he does almost nothing. He doesn't do anything that makes me care about him. And that's my biggest complaint for this movie is I just didn't care. And it's not exactly the actor's fault. It's the script's fault. And let's get into one of the stupidest things in this movie. The explosions in this movie have a weird, tiger or cheetah or whatever sound effect when an explosion goes off. There's an animal roaring or whatever, and it completely takes you out of the movie, and I don't know what they were thinking on this. Now, let's get into the writing. It's pretty bad, and before I get into the movie, I just want to let everyone know, I usually don't care about what goes on behind the scenes or what the writers are or what they like, but this is very interesting to me. The writers for this movie were not fans of the first Terminator or the second one. In theory, in a positive light, this is their chance to do whatever they want, make it into the movie they like. And this is what we got. It's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and I think that was a mistake. Let's talk about the timeline briefly. This movie takes place in 2004. Judgment Day was supposed to happen in 1997. Why they decided to move it to 2004, I don't know. That was completely unnecessary. Maybe they were thinking, well, since in Terminator 2 it takes place in 1995, they blew up Cyberdyne, this would take more years to get there. I get that, but that kind of destroys what they did in the last movie, which was do whatever they could to prevent Judgment Day. And it's so stupid. And there are some plot holes that I want to get into, and they're towards the end. And this always confused me. For those who've seen the movie, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. Or if you have an answer, let me know down below. But in this movie, supposedly the TX can control other machines. And she, at the end of the movie, she controls all these machines, whatever they're called. And at the same time, the virus breaks out, and Skynet goes crazy and gets ready to nuke Earth and destroy humanity. And I always thought to myself, who's controlling the machines, Skynet or the TX? It feels like the TX was controlling the machines, because the TX is the one that controlled them, but if you've seen the movie, you know what happens, and shouldn't Skynet have stopped? How did Skynet win? How did Skynet, I don't know. Let's get into the music. I don't like it. I think it doesn't fit with this movie. It doesn't feel like Terminator. It doesn't feel like an action movie. It just feels like a very weak film, which in some respects is kind of fitting because the movie sucks. But the music is just this generic, well, not really generic, but this weird action music that doesn't feel right. Let's get into some interesting ideas. One of the interesting ideas this movie has to offer is Catherine Brewster in this movie. She's John Connor's wife, future wife, and the Terminator has to protect her because John Connor in the year 2032, I believe that's the year, died. And the Terminator that was sent back to protect John Connor was the Terminator that killed John Connor in the future. That's a cool idea. Why didn't they explore that? Because we don't want to. We want to write a movie that is basically the same as the last movie, only worse. Which, I feel like I'm saying that too much, but it's true. And I don't know what they were thinking. And I'm not saying that this movie would have worked if James Cameron was directing it. If James Cameron was directing this movie, it would have been better, but definitely wouldn't have been great because of the script this movie has. Let's get into one of the parts that really made a lot of people upset, and that's Sarah Connor. Supposedly, in the last movie, she had, what was the name of it? Leukemia or something? I don't know. Why? She supposedly died in 97, and yeah. It's the stupidest thing ever. It's completely unnecessary. I would have liked to see Sarah Connor once again, but unfortunately, The writers just decided, well, since Sarah Connor's not going to be in this movie, let's just kill her off. I don't agree with that at all. You could have found another actress, but based on the performances we got, I can see why they decided might kill her off. They wanted to kill her off, but I don't like that at all at the same time. Let's get into the humor. It's not that good, but there are some good laughs from Arnold Schwarzenegger. If anyone else was playing this role, I think it would have fell flat, but Arnold Schwarzenegger is the saving grace of this movie. He's the reason this movie isn't complete, utter garbage. So, he has some good laughs that are pretty funny, but and I don't think any of like the bad writing is his fault. Like the talk to the hand thing, I never minded that at all. It's not as cool as "Hasta la vista, baby," but it's fine. It doesn't offend me, but it's fine just the way it is. So, aside from all that, the humor sucks. And the script is a mess. The performances, one good one, one serviceable one. The rest kind of suck. And I feel bad at saying that, because I really wish this movie was a lot better. It has some cool things in it, but it doesn't work at all. I'm going to give Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines a D+. This movie does not hold up well. The special effects in this movie are dated. They're basically look the same as, to me, the special effects in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is kind of sad. Thank you as always for watching my videos. If you enjoyed this review, leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. And if there was anything I missed, you can put that down below, because I doubt I got everything. There's so much to talk about in this movie. I doubt I got it all. So let me know down below. And follow me on Twitter. A link for that will be in the description below. And subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up. Which I have no idea what it's going to be. But, thank you for watching and have a great day.